Here we'll do another example with area. We're given a plot of land that is 0.5 miles by 3 miles. Let's try to draw this before we go any further. We'll have a thin plot of land, and the thin part is going to be 0.5 miles. The longer side will be 3 miles. We're given that there are 640 acres in a square mile, and we're asked how many acres do you own? The first thing we see here is that we have square miles, and if you have square units, we need to think area. Note that our shape is a rectangle, and we know that the area of a rectangle will be length times width. L will be length, W will be width. The long side of our rectangle is 3 miles, and we'll label that as L. The width will be 0.5 miles. We'll label that as W. Now we replace the L with 3 miles, and we replace the W with 0.5 miles, and then we place the multiplication sign in between. We'll say that this equals area on the left side. Now we go to the calculator and perform the multiplication. 3 times 0.5. We enter 3 and the multiplication symbol and say 0.5. When we press enter, we get 1.5. Let's make sure we write down the correct units for that 1.5. Since we have miles multiplied by more miles, our answer will not be miles, but instead miles squared. This is oftentimes abbreviated as SQMI for square miles. Now let's check the units that the question asked us to find. We were asked to find how many acres we own. And we don't have acres right now, we have square miles. This means we have a unit mismatch. We have square miles, but need acres. We'll write down that 1 square mile is 640 acres. We'll abbreviate square miles with miles and second power. Then we'll say equals 640 acres. Since we have a unit mismatch, let's do a unit conversion now, starting with the 1.5 miles squared that we just found in our area equation. We'll multiply by a fraction. We'll take the miles squared and move those letters to the bottom. The unit we need is acres, and so we'll place that on top. Now, we're going to place the 1 next to square miles. The square miles are on the bottom. So we'll place a 1 on the bottom. This means the 640 acres must go to the top, and we'll place the 640 next to acres. In a previous problem, we squared both of the units. In this problem, that won't be necessary. The reason for that is because these miles are already squared on the bottom. If the problem gives you a unit that is already squared, there is no need to square it again. If the problem gives you a unit that is not already squared, we would have need to square it. However, the conversion I gave you already had square, so don't square it again, just leave it as is. Now that we have our numbers arranged, we'll take 1.5, multiply by 640, and then divide by 1. Dividing by 1 will not change our answer, so it's okay to leave that part out. Now let's go to the calculator. The 1.5 is already stored. We'll multiply now by 640. When we press enter, we get 960. Let's check our units one more time. We have miles squared on the top and miles squared on the bottom in this conversion. Therefore, they'll cancel out and we'll be left with acres. These were the units we were asked for in the question. Therefore, it's okay to stop and say that our answer is 960 acres.